If a manipulator worked on you for months or years, there's a good chance your world got smaller. Fewer friends, less contact with family, a quieter phone. That isn't an accident. Isolation is often the goal, not a side effect. The good news? Rebuilding a support system is very doable, and it doesn't have to happen all at once. Here's how to start. We've covered manipulation tactics, the dark triad, target selection, trauma bonding, and the gray rock method. Today, the piece that makes everything else easier: rebuilding your people. Rebuilding connection after isolation is harder than it sounds, for a few real reasons. One, reaching out can feel like admitting something went wrong. Two, relationships you let fade don't always pick back up the same way. Three, after a manipulative relationship, trust itself can feel unreliable. You might not fully trust your own judgment about people right now. That's a normal, temporary side effect, not a permanent flaw. None of this means you're bad at relationships. It means you're recovering from something that specifically targeted your connections. Knowing that going in makes the process feel less like failure and more like physical therapy. Start with the lowest effort option first. People who already know you. Old friends, family members you drifted from, former coworkers. You don't need a dramatic explanation to reconnect. A short, low-pressure message works. Hey, I've been thinking about you. How are you? Expect some silence. People move on, and that's okay. You're not looking for everyone to respond. You're looking for a few who do. If reaching out feels too heavy right now, start by simply observing. Follow people again. Like a photo. Comment once. Small signals count. Reconnection is a series of small doors, not one big one. Open the ones that feel manageable first. Alongside old connections, it helps to build some new ones. New relationships come with an advantage: no complicated history to untangle. Shared interest spaces work best. The activity gives you something to talk about besides yourself. A class, a hobby group, a recurring volunteer shift, a sports league. Consistency matters more than intensity. The same people, the same time, most weeks. Familiarity builds trust slowly, almost without you noticing. Online communities can genuinely help too, especially early on. Support forums, moderated recovery groups, interest-based servers. They're not a replacement for in-person connection, but they're a real bridge, especially on days when leaving the house feels like too much. A therapist isn't a replacement for friends, but they fill a different, important role. They give you a space to practice trust with zero social risk. A good therapist can also help you tell the difference between healthy caution and old fear responses. Support groups specifically for people who've experienced manipulation or abuse are also worth looking into. Being in a room where no one needs the full backstory explained is its own kind of relief. If cost or access is a barrier, look into sliding scale clinics or free community support groups first. Many domestic violence and abuse support organizations offer free group support, even without a formal diagnosis. Professional support isn't required to start rebuilding, but it can make the process meaningfully faster. As your circle grows back, a few things help protect it long term. First, pace new closeness the same way we covered in the narcissist targeting video. Let trust build with time and consistency, not with how fast someone says the right things. Second, don't put all your emotional weight on one new person. Spread connection across several relationships, so no single one becomes make or break again. Third, notice how people treat your boundaries early on.
Respecting a small no is one of the clearest signs someone is safe to get closer to. Fourth, it's okay to keep some old relationships at a permanent distance. Rebuilding your circle doesn't mean rebuilding it with everyone from before.
None of this happens overnight, and it doesn't need to. One message, one class, one appointment, one small door at a time. The isolation was never proof that you're unlovable. It was a tactic, and tactics can be undone. Subscribe for more. Next time, we're breaking down love bombing versus genuine early affection and how to tell the difference.